CompTIA ITF FC0-U61 Practice Exam. Assuming that you have finished watching our free CompTIA ITF Plus complete training course, then you are ready for the next step in your CompTIA ITF Plus certification journey. This video is filled with 200+ questions that closely resemble the real exam and will help you to gauge your readiness. So are you prepared to test your knowledge? Great, let's begin. Question 1. Which of the listed interfaces is most suitable in connecting two Mac computers together? The answer is E. Thunderbolt. A Mac bridge allows two Mac computers to be connected directly using a Thunderbolt cable, enabling them to communicate and share files seamlessly. Developed in collaboration between Apple and Intel, Thunderbolt ports have become a standard feature on Mac computers. They support data, video, audio, and power on a single connection. This, combined with the Mac Bridge feature, makes Thunderbolt the ideal choice for direct Mac-to-Mac connections. Question 2. A technician is swapping out an existing router in the workplace. The router must support two frequency bands, one allowing employee connectivity and one for visitor connectivity. Which of the listed wireless standards should the technician utilize? The answer is D. 802.11n. 802.11n is the optimal answer for the scenario because it supports dual-band functionality, operating on both 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz frequency bands. This dual-band capability allows for the creation of two separate wireless networks. One can be designated for employee connectivity, ensuring secure and consistent connections, while the other can be allocated for visitor access, providing flexibility without compromising the primary network's integrity. Question 3. A service provider is troubleshooting a workstation problem for a client. The service provider first identifies the problem and researches available knowledge bases without success. Which of the listed items should the service provider perform next? The answer is A. Establish a theory of probable cause. Establishing a theory of probable cause is the logical next step for the service provider after identifying the problem and unsuccessfully searching knowledge bases. By formulating a theory of probable cause, the service provider hypothesizes potential root causes of the workstation's issue based on the available evidence and symptoms. This approach allows for a structured and systematic troubleshooting process while also aligning with CompTIA's troubleshooting methodology. Question 4. When connecting to a server via SSH, a system manager encounters the following alert that is assumed to be associated with a MITM attack. The alert reads, "Remote host identification has changed." Given this alert, which of the following has been put at risk? The answer is B. Confidentiality and integrity. Confidentiality and integrity are compromised when a system manager sees a potential man-in-the-middle alert during an SSH connection. Confidentiality is threatened as an attacker might intercept and read the transmitted data. Integrity is at risk because the data could be altered in transit. Receiving an alert that reads, "Remote host identification has changed," warns of potential data interception or tampering. Question 5. A user is facing a problem with a web browser displaying a web page incorrectly. The web page appears fine in different browsers. In this situation, what steps should the user take to resolve the problem? The answer is B. Check for browser compatibility issues. The most likely solution to a web page displaying incorrectly in one browser but not in others is to check for browser compatibility issues. Web pages are designed to work across various browsers, but individual browsers can interpret content differently. If the problem is specific to one browser, it indicates a compatibility issue with that particular browser, not the web page itself. Question 6. A database administrator has developed a tool that fetches a set of record entries from a database in its native format. Which option best describes the action being performed by the tool? The answer is C. Query. In database management, a query is a request made to retrieve specific data from a database. When the scenario mentions that the database administrator's tool is designed to fetch a set of record entries from a database in its native format, it is essentially describing the core function of a query. A query is used to extract particular records based on defined criteria, and it presents the data in the database's native structure or format. Question 7. Given the following pseudocode, which of the following would be printed out? The answer is B. In this coding example, we start by declaring the amount variable and assigning it the value of 3. We then encounter an if branching statement. The first condition presented in the if statement asks us to check if the value of amount, which is currently 3, is greater than 6. Since it is not, we move on to the next branch in the statement. The next branch is the else if branch. Here we check if the value of amount, which is currently 3, is less than 6. Since this is a true statement, we will run the printb command located within this branch. This results in the answer to this question being B. Question 8. Which storage option is most effective for sharing files among home users who are spread out worldwide? The answer is D. Cloud storage. Cloud storage is the optimal choice for sharing files among globally dispersed home users because of its universal accessibility via the Internet. It ensures up-to-date synchronization, offers collaboration tools for real-time editing, and provides robust security. Its versatility across devices and operating systems further highlights its effectiveness for worldwide file sharing. Question 9. The specs for a Wi-Fi router boasts having a 2.2 GHz quad-core chip. This specification is referring to the routers. The answer is A. Processing speed. The specification 2.2 GHz quad-core chip in a Wi-Fi router pertains to its processing speed and capability. The frequency, 2.2 GHz, denotes the speed at which the processor executes tasks. Meanwhile, quad-core indicates the presence of 4 independent processing units, allowing for simultaneous handling of multiple tasks. Question 10. Which of the following password best practices requires a user to update their password by a specific date? The answer is D. Password expiration. Password expiration is a security practice where users are required to change their passwords after a predetermined period. This approach ensures that passwords remain dynamic and reduces the potential risks associated with compromised credentials. By setting a specific date for password updates, it helps in maintaining consistent account security and encourages users to regularly refresh their passwords. Question 11. In a software application, where is the variable typically stored? The answer is C. RAM. In a software application, variables are typically stored in random access memory, or RAM. RAM is a fast-access, volatile memory used by the central processing unit for efficient data retrieval and processing. When a program runs, it loads its variables into RAM to ensure quick access and modification, enabling the program to operate smoothly and responsively. Question 12. Which of the following best describes the software elements that enable an OS to interact directly with a connected hardware device? The answer is C. Driver. A driver is a specialized software component that acts as an intermediary between the operating system and a hardware device. It provides the OS with the necessary instructions on how to control and communicate with that specific piece of hardware. Without the appropriate driver, the OS wouldn't know how to properly interact with the device, potentially leading to malfunctions or the device not working at all. Question 13. Which of the listed data types best describes operators that can link multiple search terms together? The answer is C. Booleans. In the context of search terms, Boolean operators, such as and, or, and not, are used to combine or exclude keywords, allowing for more precise and complex searches. By using these operators, users can link multiple search terms together to refine and narrow down their search results. Question 14. A CEO intends to present a new project proposal to colleagues at a corporate event. Which software category is the CEO most likely to utilize? The answer is C. Presentation software. Presentation software is designed to help users create visual and interactive slideshows to convey information effectively to an audience. For a CEO aiming to present a new project proposal at a corporate event, this type of software would be ideal. It allows for the organized display of data, graphics, and other relevant content, making it easier for colleagues to understand and engage with the proposal. Question 15. Which of the following connector types is used to terminate a twisted pair network cable? The answer is A. RJ45. RJ45 is the standard connector for terminating twisted pair network cables, especially in Ethernet-based local area networks. It's designed to connect with the individual wires of the twisted pair cable, allowing for data transmission over networks. Question 16. Which of the following best describes a common use for business data? The answer is A. Creating data reports. Creating data reports is a primary use for business data because reports provide a structured and comprehensible way to analyze, visualize, and interpret data. Businesses rely on these reports to make informed decisions, track performance, identify trends, and understand their market or operations better. By converting raw data into actionable insights through reports, companies can strategize and operate more effectively. Question 17. A user struggles to access the internet via a web browser, yet they can receive emails and instant messages. Which of the following actions should the user take to best address the problem? The answer is B. Verify the proxy configuration settings. Verifying the proxy configuration settings is the recommended action because a misconfigured proxy can prevent a web browser from accessing the internet while other services, like email and instant messaging, remain unaffected. A proxy server acts as an intermediary between the user's computer and the internet. If the settings are incorrect, the browser might not be able to navigate to websites. By ensuring these settings are correctly configured, the user can restore proper web browsing functionality. Question 18. An organization needs to design a policy that will guarantee workers can't deny certain actions. Which of the listed security concepts does this depict? The answer is A. Non-repudiation. Non-repudiation refers to a security principle that ensures an individual cannot deny or dispute the authenticity of their actions or transactions. In the context of the organization's policy, non-repudiation ensures that workers are held accountable for their specific actions, making it impossible for them to claim they didn't perform a particular task or operation. This concept is crucial for maintaining integrity and accountability in various processes, especially in digital transactions and communications. Question 19. Once a solution has been applied to a user's system, which step in the troubleshooting process should be performed next? The answer is A. Verify full system functionality. After implementing a solution to a user's system, the next step in the troubleshooting process is to verify full system functionality to ensure that the implemented fix not only addresses the initial problem but also doesn't introduce new issues or adversely affect other system functions. This step confirms that the solution is both effective and comprehensive, ensuring the system operates as intended without any unforeseen complications. Question 20. A programmer inserts a query within a software application. The query will be used by the application to retrieve data from a database. This scenario illustrates. The answer is C. Database programmatic access. Database programmatic access refers to the ability of software applications to interact with a database using embedded queries or commands. In the given scenario, the programmer's action of inserting a query within the application to fetch data from a database exemplifies this concept. It showcases how applications can be designed to directly communicate with and extract information from databases programmatically. Question 21. A web designer aims to safeguard a new web platform against brute force attacks. Which of the following best practices would be most effective in achieving this objective? The answer is C. Password lockout. Password lockout is a security measure that temporarily disables an account after a certain number of unsuccessful login attempts. This is effective against brute force attacks because such attacks rely on making numerous login attempts with different password combinations to gain access. By implementing a password lockout, the system can stop these attacks by limiting the number of tries, making it significantly more challenging for attackers to guess the correct password within the allowed attempts. Question 22. Following CompTIA's troubleshooting methodology, what action should be taken if a technician fails to find and implement a solution? The answer is A. Escalate as necessary. Escalate as necessary means that if a technician is unable to resolve an issue, they should pass it on to a higher level or more specialized team or individual. In the context of CompTIA's troubleshooting methodology, this ensures that problems are addressed by those with the appropriate expertise or knowledge, ensuring efficient resolution and minimizing downtime or further complications. It recognizes that not every technician will have the answer to every problem, and escalation ensures the issue gets the attention it requires. Question 23. Which of the listed programming languages would be employed to generate a query from a database that integrates with a web application? The answer is C. SQL. SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language, is the standard language for managing and querying data in relational databases. It allows users to retrieve, insert, update, and delete data. In the context of a web application that integrates with a database, SQL is employed to interact with the database, fetch data, and perform various database-related operations. Question 24. When working with IoT devices, which of the listed OS types is most commonly employed? The answer is A. Embedded OS. An embedded OS is a specialized operating system designed specifically for running applications and functions on devices where system resources, like memory and storage, are limited. IoT devices, such as smart thermostats, wearables, and smart home devices, often have constraints on power and memory. An embedded OS is optimized for these conditions, ensuring efficient operation, quick response times, and minimal power consumption, making it the most suitable choice for IoT devices. Question 25. A summary of staff members entering a data center outside of regular working hours is compiled by examining log records relative to standard business times. Which of the following best characterizes this situation? The answer is A. The relationship of data to creating information. The concept, relationship of data to creating information, pertains to how raw data is transformed into meaningful insights or structured information. In the context of the situation described, raw data from the log records is analyzed in relation to standard business hours. This analysis turns the raw log data into a structured report or summary, which provides clear information about staff access patterns. Question 26. Which of the following options depicts an IP address? The answer is D. 10.10.0.101. The sequence, 10.10.0.101, represents an IPv4 address. It's written in dotted decimal notation, which breaks the address into 4 groups called octets, separated by dots. Each octet has a value between 0 and 255. This format provides a clear, human-readable way to present binary IP addresses, allowing devices on a network to be uniquely identified. Question 27. Each row in a relational database represents a unique record. Which of the following defines the role of the columns? The answer is C. Attributes. In a relational database, columns represent attributes of the data. While each row signifies a unique record or entity, the columns define the specific characteristics or properties associated with that record. For example, in a database of employees, the rows might represent individual employees, while the columns could represent attributes like name, age, job title, and salary. Question 28. Which of the following commands can be executed on a database to initiate a query? The answer is C. Select. The select command is a fundamental SQL, or structured query language, statement used to retrieve data from a database. When executed, it allows users to specify and filter the data they want to fetch from one or more tables. Essentially, by using the select command, users can initiate a query to view specific data based on the criteria they define, making it the primary method for data retrieval in relational databases. Question 29. Which of the following OS utilities would be used to extend the size of a primary partition? The answer is A. Disk management. Disk management is a built-in utility in many operating systems that allows users to manage the storage devices and their partitions on a computer. It provides various functions, including creating, deleting, formatting, and resizing partitions. When wanting to extend the size of a primary partition, users can utilize disk management to allocate more space to that partition, making it the appropriate tool for such tasks. Question 30. Given the following code, which of the following categories of programming languages would best represent this code statement? The answer is C. Query language. The select statement follows the format and syntax commonly associated with SQL, or structured query language. This type of statement is designed for querying data in relational databases. Given the structure and intent of the code statement, it is representative of the query language category. Question 31. A company provides additional compensation to a software developer at the close of each year for any additional servers that have been deployed. Which of the following licensing models is the company most likely using? The answer is A. Subscription service. A subscription service licensing model typically requires periodic payments, often based on usage or the number of devices/servers utilizing the software. In the given scenario, the company's practice of providing additional compensation for each newly deployed server suggests they are paying for the software on a per-server basis, aligning with the subscription model. This model allows the company to pay only for what they actively use, adapting to changes in their infrastructure requirements as they arise. Question 32. Which software category is most commonly used for generating a general ledger? The answer is A. Accounting software. Accounting software is typically used to manage financial transactions, including the creation of a general ledger. A general ledger is a central record in accounting that captures all financial activities of a business. Given its significance, specialized accounting software is equipped to handle and maintain such ledgers efficiently. Question 33. Which of the following types of programming languages is typically used for manipulating a database? The answer is D. Query. Query languages are specifically tailored for interacting with databases. They provide the means to retrieve, insert, update, and delete data. Given their specialized focus on database operations, query languages, like structured query language, are the preferred choice for database manipulation. Question 34. Which of the following is designed with the main purpose of allowing a television to connect to the internet in order to watch internet-based video content? The answer is C. Streaming media device. A streaming media device is engineered to facilitate the connection of televisions to the internet, primarily for the purpose of streaming online video content. These compact, plug-and-play devices transform traditional TVs into smart TVs, granting them the capability to access a variety of internet-based video platforms and services. Question 35. A user attempts to establish a password as capital Q 6 lowercase a exclamation point for a brand new account only to have the system reject it. Which of the following password best practices is most likely being ignored? The answer is D. Password length. Setting a minimum password length is a common password policy. Many systems require passwords to be of a certain minimum length to ensure security. A short password, like capital Q 6 lowercase a exclamation point, might be easier to guess or crack using brute force attack methods. The system's rejection of such a short password suggests that it doesn't meet the required length set by the platform's security standards. Question 36. Which of the following protocols is responsible for allocating IP addresses to network devices? The answer is B. DHCP. DHCP, which stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, is the protocol responsible for dynamically assigning IP addresses to network devices. When a device connects to a network, DHCP automatically provides it with an IP address, allowing the device to communicate with other devices on the network. This dynamic allocation ensures efficient use of available IP addresses and simplifies network management. Question 37. Which of the following internal computing components is most prone to overheating? The answer is B. GPU. The GPU, or Graphics Processing Unit, is often susceptible to overheating because it handles complex graphical computations, especially during tasks like gaming, video rendering, or running graphic-intensive applications. These operations can cause the GPU to generate a significant amount of heat. If not adequately cooled or if subjected to prolonged high-intensity tasks, the GPU can overheat, making it crucial to have effective cooling solutions in place. Question 38. A home user installs a new computer and observes that the reported disk space is only 80% of the advertised amount. What is the most probable reason for this discrepancy? The answer is C. There is a hidden disk partition. A hidden disk partition is a section of the hard drive that is not readily visible or accessible to the average user under standard settings. Manufacturers often create these partitions to store system recovery tools, backup data, or the operating system itself. When a user checks the available disk space, this hidden partition isn't included in the visible storage, leading to the observed discrepancy between the advertised disk space and the reported amount. Question 39. Which of the following best represents the idea of a written policy? The answer is A. A document that outlines the acceptable use of company resources. A document that outlines the acceptable use of company resources is a prime example of a written policy because it provides clear guidelines and expectations for behavior within an organization. Written policies are formalized statements that dictate specific procedures or rules to be followed. In this case, the document sets the standards for how company resources, such as computers, software, or internet access, should be used by employees, ensuring consistent understanding and adherence across the organization. Question 40. A user attempts to update the driver for a sound card on a computer, but the update is unsuccessful, resulting in the sound card no longer functioning. Which of the following actions should be performed by the user next? The answer is A. Roll back the driver. Rolling back the driver means reverting to the previous version of the driver that was known to work correctly. In the scenario described, since the sound card stopped functioning after the driver update, it's likely that the new driver is incompatible or faulty. Rolling back to the previous driver version can restore the sound card's functionality, making it the logical next step for the user to resolve the issue. Question 41. In a database, which field would most likely be designated as the primary key? The answer is D. Customer number. The customer number is often chosen as the primary key in a database because it is unique for each customer. A primary key's main role is to uniquely identify each record in a database table, ensuring no duplicates. Given that each customer would have a distinct customer number, it serves as an ideal choice for a primary key, ensuring that each customer's data is distinct and easily retrievable. Question 42. A CSV file is most commonly associated with which of the following database concepts? The answer is C. Data importing. A CSV, or comma-separated values file, is a simple file format used to store tabular data, such as a spreadsheet or database. Data importing is the process of bringing data into a database from external sources. Given the simplicity and widespread use of CSV files, they are often chosen as a standard format for data importing. When databases need to ingest data from other systems or platforms, CSV files serve as a convenient and universally accepted medium to facilitate this transfer. Question 43. A support desk technician gets a service request and wants to check if the issue has been addressed before. What step should the support desk technician perform first? The answer is A. Research knowledge base. Researching the knowledge base is the recommended first step because a knowledge base is a centralized repository of information, solutions, and past incidents. By checking the knowledge base, the technician can quickly determine if the issue has been encountered and resolved previously. This can save time and effort by leveraging existing solutions or insights, ensuring consistent and efficient responses to recurring problems. Question 44. Which of the following computing devices has the primary purpose of providing services to varying client devices? The answer is D. Server. A server is designed to serve or provide data, resources, and services to other computers, known as clients, over a network. Its primary function is to store, retrieve, and send computer files and data to other computers on the network. Question 45. Which of the following pertains to an element in a database that points to the unique identifier of its parent table? The answer is C. Foreign key. A foreign key in a database serves as a reference or link to the unique identifier of another table. Its primary function is to ensure data integrity and establish relationships between related data sets in different tables. By pointing to the primary key of its parent table, it creates a connection that ensures the consistency and relevance of the data. Question 46. For which of the following purposes is a relational database management system most frequently utilized? The answer is B. Storing information. A relational database management system, RDBMS, is primarily designed to store, manage, and retrieve information. It organizes data into structured tables that can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. The relational aspect allows for data within these tables to be linked or related to data in other tables, facilitating complex queries and data relationships. Thus, the core function of an RDBMS is to provide an efficient and organized way to store information. Question 47. Which of the following most accurately describes an instance of an application running on an operating system? The answer is A. Process. A process refers to a program in execution. When an application is launched or runs on an operating system, it becomes an active process. The operating system manages these processes, allocating resources like CPU time and memory. Each instance of an application running is treated as a separate process, allowing the operating system to handle multitasking and ensure smooth operation. Thus, when referring to an instance of an application running on an OS, it's described as a process. Question 48. The broadcast signal from a newly set up wireless access point is weaker than anticipated. Which of the following steps would be most effective at enhancing the signal strength? The answer is B. Remove any sources of EMI. Electromagnetic interference, or EMI, can adversely affect the strength and quality of wireless signals. Various devices, such as microwaves, cordless phones, or other electronic equipment, can produce EMI. By addressing these sources of interference, either by eliminating or relocating them away from the wireless access point, the signal strength can be significantly improved, leading to a more stable and robust wireless connection. Question 49. A user encounters an error when attempting to access a website. To understand the problem better, a technician questions the user and then tries to visit the same website on their own device. Which troubleshooting technique is the technician employing by attempting to access the same website? The answer is C. Duplicate the problem. When a technician tries to recreate the user's issue by following the same steps or using the same conditions, they are employing a troubleshooting technique known as duplicating the problem. This method allows the technician to experience the problem firsthand, providing a clearer understanding of the issue's nature and potential causes. In the given scenario, by accessing the same website, the technician aims to see the error for themselves to gather more information and determine the best course of action. Question 50. A user tries to print a document using a wireless printer but encounters an error indicating the operation could not be completed. What should the user do to resolve this problem? The answer is A. Check if both devices are connected to the same LAN. For wireless printing to work, both the printer and the user's device must be on the same local area network. If they are on different networks, they may not communicate effectively. Ensuring both devices are on the same LAN allows for seamless communication and successful printing. Question 51. Which relational database feature ensures that only valid data is input into a specified column? The answer is C. Constraints. In relational databases, constraints are rules applied to columns or tables to ensure data integrity and accuracy. When a constraint is set on a column, it dictates what kind of data can be entered into that column, ensuring that only valid and appropriate data is stored. For instance, a constraint might limit entries to a specific range of numbers or ensure that a field contains unique values. By enforcing these rules, constraints help maintain the reliability and consistency of the database's information. Question 52. A user is acquiring a laptop to hold sensitive personal information. To guarantee the data's security, even in the event of theft, which measure should be taken? The answer is A. Encryption. Encryption is a method of converting data into a ciphertext in order to prevent unauthorized access. When data on a laptop is encrypted, it becomes unreadable to anyone who doesn't have the decryption key or password. So, even if the laptop is stolen, the thief would not be able to access the encrypted data without the correct decryption credentials. This ensures that sensitive personal information remains secure and confidential, regardless of the physical security of the device. Question 53. What type of program interacts directly with hardware to manage storage, network connectivity, and virtual machines? The answer is D. Type 1 hypervisor. Unlike Type 2 hypervisors, which run atop an existing operating system, Type 1 hypervisors have direct access to physical hardware resources. This makes them more efficient and ideal for enterprise environments, where performance and scalability are crucial. In essence, they serve as a fundamental layer between the hardware and multiple operating systems, allowing for the creation and management of virtual machines. Question 54. Which of the following is a compiled language? The answer is C. Java. Java is considered a compiled language because its source code is written by developers in a human-readable format and then compiled by the Java compiler into bytecode. This bytecode is a platform-independent, intermediate representation of the source code. Question 55. In CompTIA's troubleshooting methodology, which action is typically the last step in the process? The answer is A. Document the solution and cause. Document the solution and cause is the last step in CompTIA's troubleshooting methodology because it ensures that a record is kept of the issue and its resolution. This documentation aids in faster resolution of similar problems in the future, provides a reference for other technicians, and contributes to a knowledge base. By documenting the solution and cause, technicians can avoid repeating the same troubleshooting steps and can build on past experiences to improve overall service efficiency. Question 56. Which value uniquely identifies a specific record in a relational database? The answer is C. Primary key. A primary key in a relational database is a unique identifier for a specific record. Each table can have only one primary key, and no two records in the same table can have identical primary key values. This ensures that each record can be efficiently retrieved, updated, or deleted without ambiguity. The primary key's uniqueness property guarantees that every record in the table is distinguishable from all others, ensuring data integrity and accuracy. Question 57. An administrator wishes to retrieve all data from a database that meets a specific condition. Which command should be used? The answer is A. Select. The select command is used in SQL, or structured query language, to retrieve data from a database. When an administrator wants to fetch data that meets a specific condition, they use the select statement in conjunction with a where clause to specify the criteria. This allows for filtering and returning only the records that match the given condition, making select the appropriate command for such data retrieval tasks. Question 58. In a program being developed, a number must be stored that can change throughout the program's runtime. Which of the following would the developer likely use to achieve this? The answer is B. Variable. A variable in programming is a storage location paired with an associated symbolic name, which contains some known or unknown quantity of information referred to as a value. The main purpose of a variable is to store data that can be used and manipulated throughout a program. It can hold different values at different times during the program's execution, making it the ideal choice for storing a number that might change as the program runs. Question 59. After an IT technician resolves an issue with a user's computer and verifies the repair, what should the technician do next? The answer is D. Document the findings. Documenting the findings follows after resolving an issue and verifying full system functionality in the troubleshooting process. This final step creates a record of the problem and its solution. This documentation serves multiple purposes. It provides a reference for future similar issues, helps in training and knowledge sharing among the IT team, ensures consistency in handling problems, and aids in tracking recurring issues. Question 60. A company policy mandates that new employees submit an iris scan to address potential future legal inquiries about the applicant's identity. What concept does this scenario exemplify? The answer is B. Authentication. The scenario described is an example of authentication. Authentication is the process of verifying the identity of a person or system. In this case, the iris scan is used to uniquely identify and verify the identity of the applicants. Non-repudiation, on the other hand, ensures that a party cannot deny an action they have taken. While the iris scan could potentially be used for non-repudiation purposes, the primary intent in this scenario is to authenticate the identity of the applicant. Question 61. Which of the following is a benefit of a cloud-hosted application? The answer is A. Data is not stored locally. When an application is hosted in the cloud, data is stored on remote servers rather than on local devices or infrastructure. This offers several advantages. It reduces the risk of data loss due to local hardware failures, allows for easier scalability as data storage needs grow, and ensures data accessibility from any location with an internet connection. Additionally, it can lead to cost savings as organizations don't need to invest heavily in local storage infrastructure and maintenance. Question 62. A small business intends to establish a server accessible both from their internal network and the internet. Before permitting employees remote access to the server, what is the most important factor to consider? The answer is B. The security method the computers will use to connect. When setting up remote access to a server, especially one that's accessible from the internet, the primary concern is security. Choosing a secure method of connection is essential because it determines how data will be protected during transmission and how unauthorized access will be prevented. Without a robust security method, sensitive company data could be exposed to risks such as data breaches, eavesdropping, or unauthorized access. Question 63. For a program that selects between one of three options based on user input, which programming construct is most suitable to implement? The answer is B. If statement. An if statement, often combined with else or else if clauses, is a conditional programming construct that allows the program to make decisions based on specific conditions. In the context of selecting between three options based on user input, an if statement can evaluate the input and execute different code blocks depending on the input's value. This makes it an ideal choice for handling such decision-making scenarios in programming. Question 64. What does a UPS offer protection against? The answer is C. Power outages. A UPS, or uninterruptible power supply, provides protection against power outages by supplying stored energy when the main power source fails. This ensures that electronic devices, especially computers, don't shut down abruptly during a power interruption. By doing so, a UPS prevents potential data loss, hardware damage, and allows users a window of time to save their work and shut down their devices safely. Question 65. A restaurant company has their newly hired employees watch a training video that is stored on a DVD. Which computing component makes this task possible? The answer is A. Optical drive. An optical drive is a device that reads and writes data from optical discs like CDs, DVDs, and Blu-ray discs. In the context of watching a training video stored on a DVD, the optical drive reads the data from the DVD and allows the computer or DVD player to play the video content. Without an optical drive, the system wouldn't be able to access or interpret the data stored on the DVD. Question 66. Once a technician finally confirms a theory while troubleshooting a device, what action should they take next? The answer is C. Establish a plan of action. Once a technician confirms a theory during troubleshooting, the next logical step is to establish a plan of action. This means that the technician should devise a strategy or set of steps to resolve the identified issue based on the confirmed theory. By planning the actions in advance, the technician can ensure a systematic and efficient approach to address the problem, minimizing potential errors or oversights. Question 67. Given the following pseudocode, if today is Sunday, which of the following activities does the family have scheduled? The answer is C. Soccer game. In this coding example, we start by declaring two containers, one for weekday and one for weekend. We then encounter an if branching statement. The first condition presented in the if statement asks us to check if the current day, which is Sunday, is equal to Tuesday or Thursday. Since it is not, we move on to the next branch in the statement. The next branch is the else if branch. Here we check if the current day, which is Sunday, exists in the weekend container. Since Sunday is in the weekend container, we will output the string, soccer game. This results in the answer to this question being, soccer game. Question 68. A desktop technician has connected a printer to a workstation, however, the workstation doesn't recognize the printer. What is the workstation most likely lacking to ensure the printer functions correctly? The answer is D. Driver. Drivers act as intermediaries, enabling communication between the operating system of the workstation and the hardware device, in this case, the printer. Without the correct driver, the workstation cannot recognize or communicate effectively with the printer, preventing it from functioning properly. Installing the appropriate driver ensures that the printer and workstation can understand and respond to each other's commands. Question 69. Which of the following provides the most accurate description of a kilobyte? The answer is A. A measurement of storage equal to 1000 bytes. A kilobyte is traditionally understood as 1024 bytes due to the binary nature of computing. However, in many contexts, especially when referring to storage capacities like hard drives or flash drives, a kilobyte is often rounded to 1000 bytes. This simplification aligns with the International System of Units standard, making it easier for general understanding and marketing purposes. Thus, describing a kilobyte as a measurement of storage equal to 1000 bytes is accurate. Question 70. Which software licensing approach allows a developer to change the initial code and distribute their own variant of the software? The answer is C. Open source software. Open source software provides developers with the freedom to view, modify, and distribute the software's source code. This flexibility encourages innovation and collaboration, as developers can tailor the software to their needs or improve upon it, and then share their version with the community. Question 71. What are the basic operations in computing? The answer is D. Input, processing, output, storage. In computing, there are four primary operations: input, processing, output, and storage. Input captures data, processing manipulates it, output displays results, and storage saves data for future use. Question 72. A database administrator grants permissions for an employee to view information held within a database. What action has been taken? The answer is D. Data definition. Data definition involves specifying the structure of a database and the operations that can be performed on it. When the database administrator grants permissions to an employee to view information, they are defining the access rights for that specific user, which falls under the realm of data definition. Question 73. A company is having trouble operating one of their IP-based security cameras following a power outage. The camera displays an LED light, showing it's powered on. What is the most probable cause of the issue? The answer is D. The wireless router is still down and is preventing connectivity. The IP-based security camera relies on network connectivity to function, often provided by a wireless router. If there was a power outage, even though the camera might have regained power, as indicated by the LED light, the wireless router might not have automatically rebooted or re-established its connection. Without the router providing network connectivity, the IP-based camera cannot communicate or operate as intended. Question 74. A developer wants to save a program's output in a location that offers rapid access. Also, data persistence is not necessary. Which storage option is most suitable for this purpose? The answer is B. Memory. Memory, specifically random access memory, or RAM, is designed for fast data access and is used by a computer or device to store data temporarily for quick retrieval. Unlike storage devices like hard drives or SSDs, RAM provides almost instantaneous data access, making it ideal for tasks that require speed. However, data stored in RAM is volatile, meaning it doesn't persist after the system is powered off. In the context of the developer's needs, where persistence isn't a requirement but speed is, RAM is the most suitable storage option. Question 75. In terms of intellectual property, which concept best represents a company's legally protected slogan? The answer is D. Trademark. A trademark is a type of intellectual property that provides protection to recognizable signs, designs, or expressions that distinguish products or services of a particular source from those of others. Company slogans, when legally protected, fall under the category of trademarks. This ensures that other entities cannot use or replicate the slogan without permission, preventing confusion in the market and maintaining the unique identity of the company. Question 76. Which wireless communication method requires devices to be within a few inches of one another for data transfer? The answer is B. NFC. NFC, or near-field communication, is a short-range wireless communication technology that allows devices to exchange data when they are positioned very close to each other, typically within a few inches. It's commonly used for contactless payments, smart cards, and data transfers between devices like smartphones. Question 77. A company has introduced a new password policy for employees that requires the following. Passwords may not contain dictionary words. Passwords must contain a minimum of one special character. Passwords must use at least one capital letter or number. Which of the following password best practices is being introduced? The answer is B. Password complexity. The company's password policy emphasizes creating passwords that are difficult to guess or crack. By excluding dictionary words and mandating the inclusion of special characters, uppercase letters, or numbers, the policy is enforcing password complexity. Password complexity ensures that passwords are not easily decipherable, making them more secure against potential unauthorized access or attacks. Question 78. Which of the following is the most effective method to prevent malware, delivered through a malicious email attachment, from harming an individual's computer? The answer is A. Apply patches and updates. Applying patches and updates is a vital component in preventing malware that comes from malicious email attachments. This is because malware often targets known software vulnerabilities. Developers consistently release fixes for these vulnerabilities through patches and updates. By ensuring that all software is current, users can greatly minimize the chance of malware taking advantage of these weak points. Question 79. A user wishes to maintain an internet connection on their laptop while they roam just outside their home. Which of the following is the most suitable option to achieve this goal? The answer is D. WLAN card. A WLAN card, which stands for Wireless Local Area Network Card, allows a laptop to connect to wireless networks, such as a home Wi-Fi network. By having a WLAN card, the user can move about their home or just outside and still maintain a connection to their home's internet without any physical wired connection. Question 80. A user discovers that their password for a social media site has been compromised. Now they are concerned their email and banking accounts might also be at risk. Which of the following is most likely the reason for the user's concern? The answer is A. Password reuse. The user's concern most likely stems from the practice of password reuse. This means the user has used the same password across multiple accounts or platforms. If one account's password is compromised, any other accounts with the same password are also vulnerable. This is why it's recommended to have unique passwords for different accounts to prevent a security breach in one place from jeopardizing multiple accounts. Question 81. A technician is setting up a new wireless network and aims to safeguard it against unauthorized access. Which of the listed protocols would offer the highest level of security? The answer is C. WPA2. WPA2, or Wi-Fi Protected Access 2, is an advanced security protocol for wireless networks. It replaced the older WPA protocol and provides stronger data protection by using the Advanced Encryption Standard Protocol. WPA2 ensures that the data on the network remains encrypted and secure from eavesdropping, making it the preferred choice for wireless network security over its predecessors. It is also worth noting that WPA3, while not currently a part of the CompTIA ITF Plus objectives, has been introduced and offers even more security than WPA2. Question 82. Which two network protocols are commonly utilized for transmitting and retrieving emails over the Internet? Choose two. The answer is A and E. SMTP and POP3. SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and POP3, Post Office Protocol 3, are both integral to the email transmission process. SMTP is primarily used for sending emails from a client to a server or between servers. On the other hand, POP3 is used by email clients to retrieve emails from a server, making them accessible to the end user. Together, these protocols enable the seamless sending and retrieval of email messages over the Internet. Question 83. In a relational database, which command can be used to entirely delete a table along with its data? The answer is D. Drop. The drop command is used in relational databases to delete an existing table and all of its data. When executed, it removes the table structure and associated data from the database entirely. It's a definitive action that cannot be undone, so it's essential to use it with caution. Question 84. A technician is tasked with connecting a new monitor to a workstation. Which of the following connection methods is most commonly used for this purpose? The answer is D. DVI. DVI, or Digital Visual Interface, is a common connection method used to link monitors to workstations. It was designed to transmit uncompressed video data and can support both analog and digital signals. While newer interfaces like HDMI and DisplayPort have become more prevalent in recent years, DVI remains a popular choice, especially in professional and older setups. Question 85. A new property owner seeks advice on selecting the right internet connectivity for their remote home, which lacks access to existing infrastructure. Which type of internet service would be the most suitable choice? The answer is D. Satellite. Satellite internet communicates directly with satellites in orbit using a satellite dish, bypassing the need for ground-based infrastructure. This unique capability makes it the preferred choice for remote areas where traditional internet options are unavailable, ensuring users in such locations can still access the internet. Question 86. A programmer is designing an application that must display text in multiple languages, including non-Latin characters. Which of the following should the programmer use to handle international text data? The answer is D. Unicode. Unicode is the recommended format for handling international text data because it provides a unique value for every character across various languages, including non-Latin characters. This ensures that text is consistently represented and displayed correctly across different platforms and devices internationally. Question 87. In a disaster recovery exercise, a company is directed to recover customer data before restoring operational data. What concept does this illustrate? The answer is C. Prioritization. The concept illustrated is prioritization. In the context of disaster recovery, it means determining the order in which data or systems are restored after a disruption. By choosing to recover customer data first, the company is placing a higher importance on that data compared to operational data. Question 88. Which two operating systems can run programs without needing file extensions? Choose two. The answer is B and E. Unix and Linux. Unix and Linux operating systems utilize a mechanism, called a shebang, to determine how a script should be executed. This approach allows Unix and Linux systems to execute scripts based on their content and a specified interpreter, rather than requiring specific file extensions. Question 89. A technician is tasked with setting up a wireless router for a customer that has a maximum throughput speed of 11 megabits per second and works on the 2.4 GHz frequency band. Which router type was selected for this installation? The answer is B. 802.11b. The 802.11b standard is a wireless networking protocol that operates on the 2.4 GHz frequency band and offers speeds up to 11 megabits per second. Given the specifications mentioned, 802.11b is the appropriate choice for a router that meets these requirements. Question 90. Which of the following combinations would be classified as multi-factor authentication? The answer is D. Smart card and a PIN. Multi-factor authentication enhances security by requiring users to provide multiple methods of verification. In the case of using a smart card combined with a PIN, it represents two distinct factors. The smart card is something you have, and the PIN is something you know. This combination ensures that even if one method is compromised, unauthorized access is still hindered by the need for the other verification method. Question 91. In addition to a markup language, which kind of programming language would a web developer most likely use to create a website? The answer is A. Interpreted. Interpreted languages, such as JavaScript, are commonly used in web development because they run directly in the browser without the need for compilation. This allows for real-time execution and dynamic interactions on websites, making them more responsive and interactive for the user. Question 92. A developer is constructing step-by-step instructions and conditional statements for a computer program to address a specific challenge. What is the developer constructing? The answer is A. An algorithm. An algorithm is a set of step-by-step instructions designed to perform a specific task or solve a particular problem. In the context of the question, the developer is creating these instructions and incorporating conditional statements to guide the computer program's behavior. Algorithms are fundamental in programming as they dictate how a program processes information and arrives at a solution or result. Question 93. A new business has designed a unique logo and wishes to prevent other organizations from using it in any capacity. Which of the following measures should the business implement to protect their logo? Choose 2. The answer is B and D. Copyright and trademark. Copyright and trademark are vital for logo protection. Copyright grants exclusive rights to original works, preventing unauthorized use of artistic creations like logos. Trademarks protect symbols and names tied to goods or services, ensuring no other entity uses a similar mark that could confuse consumers. Together, they offer robust protection for a company's logo against potential misuse. Question 94. A journalist often travels to various locations for work and carries sensitive information on their laptop. To ensure the data remains secure even if the laptop is misplaced or stolen, which of the following measures would be the best to implement? The answer is D. Full disk encryption. Full disk encryption ensures that all the data on the laptop's storage, including both the system and user files, is encrypted. This means that even if the laptop is lost or stolen, unauthorized individuals won't be able to access the encrypted data without the correct decryption key or password. Question 95. In which scenarios would one most likely have an expectation of privacy? The answer is B. Entering personal information into a school registration website. Entering personal information into a school registration website implies that the platform is designed with security measures to protect sensitive data. Educational institutions, such as schools, are often subject to strict regulations and standards that mandate the protection of personal information. These regulations ensure that the information provided is kept confidential and is not misused. Question 96. A software developer is working on an e-commerce platform where users input their postal codes during checkout. The developer needs to choose an appropriate data type for storing these postal codes within the system. Which of the following data types should the developer select for this purpose? The answer is B. String. Postal codes, with their blend of letters and numbers, require a data type that supports varied formats. The string data type is optimal for this purpose, as it can handle both alphanumeric characters and diverse structures, making it particularly suitable for storing postal codes. Question 97. Which language is one step above machine code and uses symbolic instructions? The answer is D. Assembly languages. Assembly language operates just above machine code, providing a slight layer of abstraction while maintaining high efficiency and speed. It uses human-readable mnemonics for operations and addresses, making it easier to understand and write than the binary instructions of machine code. Question 98. What is the primary purpose for using functions in programming? The answer is B. To divide code into reusable components. In programming, a function is a way to group various pieces of code to perform a specific task. Instead of writing the same code many times, you create a function that you can call whenever you need it. This makes your code more organized, easier to manage, and avoids repetition. Question 99. Which of the following values would represent the fastest data transfer rate? The answer is C. 1.08 gigabits per second. By standardizing the unit of measure to megabits per second, it becomes clear that 1.08 gigabits per second offers the highest data transfer speed among the options provided. With option A, 1008 kilobits per second converts to 1.008 megabits per second. With option B, 180 megabits per second remains 180 megabits per second. With option C, 1.08 gigabits per second converts to 1080 megabits per second. And with option D, 108 megabits per second remains 108 megabits per second. Question 100. A technician is tasked with manually configuring the IP address of a new corporate workstation. Which of the following is a suitable IP address to connect to the corporate LAN? The answer is B. 172.16.5.53. The IP address 172.16.5.53 belongs to one of the three defined ranges of private IP addresses. These private addresses are essential for internal network communications, preventing external IP address conflicts. By using a private IP address, the workstation can seamlessly integrate into the corporate LAN. Question 101. A business needs multiple analytical reports combining insights from sales, inventory, marketing, and compensation datasets. What is the most suitable storage solution for this data? The answer is C. Database. A database is the optimal solution for storing diverse sets of data, like those from sales, inventory, marketing, and compensation, because it allows for efficient organization, retrieval, and management of data. Databases can handle large volumes of structured data, enabling complex querying, sorting, and reporting. Question 102. A computer user is in the process of downloading software from the internet and observes that the installation file concludes with x86.exe. What does x86 signify in the context of this software installation file? The answer is B. x86 operates on 32-bit and 64-bit CPU architectures. The term x86 in the file name x86.exe indicates that the software is designed to run on both 32-bit and 64-bit CPU architectures. The x86 architecture originated with 32-bit processors and is now compatible with the 64-bit systems commonly in use today. Question 103. The SMTP protocol is most likely to be used by which of the following software types? The answer is D. Email software. The SMTP protocol, or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, is specifically designed for the sending of emails. SMTP handles the process of sending messages from your email client software to the recipient's email server. SMTP contains a set of rules that standardize the transmission of emails across the internet, ensuring that messages are properly routed from sender to recipient. Without SMTP, the email clients wouldn't know how to send messages, nor would servers know how to handle incoming mail, making SMTP integral to the function of email software. Question 104. Which configuration setting can help mitigate the risk of malware infections originating from websites during internet browsing? The answer is D. Prompt before downloads start. Setting up a requirement for user approval before starting any downloads greatly strengthens security while browsing the internet. This strategy combats hidden malware attacks by allowing users to decide whether to proceed with or cancel downloads, blocking deceptive malicious files from infiltrating the system. Question 105. What type of information would a company typically require employees to manage in a sensitive manner? The answer is A. Customer date of birth. Customer date of birth is considered sensitive information because it's personally identifiable information that could be used in identity theft or other fraudulent activities. Companies mandate that employees handle such data with extra caution to protect customer privacy and comply with data protection laws. Question 106. The sales team requires a collaborative solution for maintaining a customer register that includes details such as names, contact information, and transaction histories. The solution must also allow for concurrent edits by team members. What type of software would best meet these requirements? The answer is A. Database software. Database software is ideal for the sales team's needs because it allows for the efficient organization and retrieval of complex data, like customer details and sales records. Additionally, it supports multiple users updating information simultaneously, ensuring real-time data consistency and accuracy. Question 107. A user connects to the company's Wi-Fi network and attempts to access the internet but discovers they can only visit the company's intranet site. Which action would most likely resolve this issue? The answer is B. Reconfigure the browser's proxy settings. The issue of only being able to access intranet sites suggests a problem with the browser's proxy settings. These settings determine how internet traffic is routed, and an incorrect configuration may restrict access to external websites. By reconfiguring or correcting these settings, the browser will be able to route traffic correctly. Question 108. Which scenario would typically have the highest expectation of privacy? The answer is C. A locally stored document. Among the options presented, a locally stored document is considered to have the highest expectation of privacy because it is stored directly on a user's device, not transmitted over networks or stored on external servers. This minimizes exposure to potential breaches or unauthorized access that can occur online, making it inherently more secure and private. Question 109. Which of the following storage devices utilizes a spinning disk mechanism? Choose 2. The answer is A and D. Optical drive and HDD. Optical drives and HDDs, or hard disk drives, both rely on spinning disk mechanisms for their operation. An optical drive uses a laser to read or write data on the spinning disk like CDs or DVDs. In contrast, an HDD stores data on a spinning platter, with a read/write head on an arm accessing the data while the disk is rotating. Question 110. A research team is preparing for a 3-month environmental study in a secluded mountain region with no infrastructure. What would be the best option for internet service in this remote setting? The answer is B. Satellite. Satellite internet is the optimal choice for a remote setting because it doesn't rely on traditional ground-based infrastructure. Instead, it provides connectivity through a satellite dish that communicates with orbiting satellites, enabling internet access in locations where other services are unavailable. Question 111. Which of the following functions is performed by the GPU on a graphics card? The answer is D. Processing. The primary function of the GPU, or graphics processing unit, on a graphics card is processing. The GPU handles complex calculations related to visual rendering, thereby offloading these tasks from the main CPU and ensuring smoother, more efficient visual performance, particularly in graphic-intensive applications like gaming, video editing, and 3D rendering. Question 112. A remote employee notices the stock market website they frequently check shows the morning stock figures in the afternoon, despite several page refreshes. What's the most likely reason for this outdated information? The answer is A. Proxy server. The answer points to the proxy server because a proxy server can sometimes serve outdated content. Proxy servers are intermediate servers that store copies of web content for quicker access. However, if the proxy doesn't update its stored content regularly or fails to recognize that the website has updated information, it will continue to deliver the old data it has saved. This scenario is consistent with the user's experience of seeing outdated information despite refreshing the page. Question 113. Which form of encryption would be most effective in securing data on a laptop if it were stolen? The answer is A. Disk. Full disk encryption is the most effective method for protecting data on a stolen laptop because it encrypts the entire hard drive, including both system and user files. This comprehensive approach ensures that unauthorized users cannot access the encrypted data, making the information unreadable and useless to thieves without the correct decryption key. Question 114. Which of the following would a developer choose to most efficiently store all the months of the year? The answer is A. In an array. Given the options, an array would be the optimal choice for storing the months of the year. Storing each month as separate objects or string variables would not only be cumbersome but also inefficient, especially when performance is a key consideration. Arrays consolidate this data into a single, manageable container, allowing for faster access and better performance. Additionally, arrays avoid the unnecessary overhead of dynamic resizing, as would be the case with a vector. Question 115. What issue does installing cross-platform software solve? The answer is D. Compatibility. Installing cross-platform software addresses compatibility issues, ensuring that the software can run on multiple operating systems or environments. This approach eliminates the need for different versions for each system, thereby simplifying deployment and user experience across diverse platforms. Question 116. In a software application, a global variable named age is set to increment each time a function is called. What data type would be most appropriate for the age variable in this scenario? The answer is A. Integer. The integer data type is appropriate for the age variable because it is used to represent whole numbers without decimal points. In scenarios where a variable's value is expected to increase or decrease by whole numbers, an integer is ideal, due to its nature of storing non-fractional numbers, ensuring accuracy and efficiency in the program's operation. Question 117. A university intends to set up an application where students can access educational materials and records while on campus. However, off-campus access will be restricted unless students use an approved VPN connection. What kind of application is being described in this scenario? The answer is B. Intranet application. An intranet application refers to a platform accessible only within a specific network, like a university's internal system. When off-campus, students must use a VPN to access these resources, as the VPN mimics an internal network connection. This setup ensures secure access, making the user's device act as if it's physically inside the university's network, thereby granting entry to the intranet application. Question 118. A technician encounters a program malfunction and decides to run the same program on a different machine with the same specifications. What step of the troubleshooting methodology does this action illustrate? The answer is A. Duplicate the problem. The step duplicate the problem involves recreating the issue under controlled conditions to better understand its nature. By running the program on an identical machine, the technician can confirm whether the problem is unique to the original system or related to the program itself, providing a clearer direction for further diagnosis and eventual resolution. Question 119. Which of the following is a logical structure for storing and organizing files? The answer is A. Folder. A folder serves as a digital location where files can be organized and stored logically on a computer. Folders help users categorize and group various types of files, making data management and retrieval more efficient and systematic. They are fundamental components of a computer's file system, providing a way to keep the digital workspace organized. Question 120. Which of the following values represents the fastest processing speed? The answer is A. 4.2 GHz. By standardizing the unit of measure to megahertz, it becomes clear that 4.2 GHz offers the fastest processing speed among the options provided. With option A, 4.2 GHz converts to 4200 MHz. With option B, 4.2 MHz remains 4.2 MHz. With option C, 42 MHz remains 42 MHz. And with option D, 420 MHz remains 420 MHz. Question 121. Following a significant security breach at a major online retailer, users are worried about the potential impact on their accounts on various other platforms. Which of the following is the most likely reason users are concerned about other accounts? The answer is B. Password reuse. The concern over other accounts stems from the common practice of password reuse. Many individuals use the same password across multiple platforms. With password reuse, if one account is compromised, especially from a major retailer known to hold a lot of personal data, cybercriminals can potentially access other platforms using the same credentials. This practice of reusing passwords amplifies the risks of a single breach, potentially giving attackers a way to quickly compromise multiple accounts. Question 122. What device serves both input and output functions? The answer is C. Touchscreen monitor. A touchscreen monitor incorporates both input and output capabilities. It displays information, output, and responds to user interactions via touch input, allowing for a two-way exchange of information with the user. Question 123. What is the rationale behind mandating the use of complex passwords? The answer is B. To prevent an attacker from correctly guessing the password. The primary reason for requiring complex passwords is to create a barrier against attackers successfully guessing them. Complex passwords, which include a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols, increase the number of possible combinations, making the passwords much more difficult to predict and thereby improving the security of user accounts. Question 124. Which of the following best describes a use for the binary notational system? The answer is A. To represent two distinct states, often as on or off. The binary system is foundational in computing because it simplifies the way devices process data. Computers use electrical signals, which can be easily translated into a binary system's two states, allowing for straightforward data processing and storage. This system's on or off states correspond to the presence or absence of an electrical charge, respectively, forming the basis of virtually all modern digital technology. Question 125. Which of the following contains exactly 4 copper wires? The answer is D. USB. A standard USB cable is designed with 4 individual wires inside. This configuration includes 2 wires dedicated to power delivery, ensuring the device receives the necessary electrical charge, and 2 separate wires dedicated for data transfer, allowing for the communication of data between devices. Question 126. A business seeks a solution that allows multiple users concurrent access to an application, with a strong emphasis on secure information storage. What is the most suitable choice for storing this data? The answer is C. Database. A database stands out as the preferred option for data storage in environments requiring concurrent user access. This is due to its inherent design that supports multiple users interacting with the data simultaneously without performance degradation. Furthermore, databases offer advanced security measures, ensuring that while multiple users can access the data they need, stringent controls protect sensitive information from unauthorized access or breaches, maintaining data integrity and confidentiality. Question 127. A user is setting up a wireless router and wants to follow security best practices. What should the user change? Choose 2. The answer is D and E. SSID and default login credentials. Changing the SSID and default login credentials are best practices for wireless router security. The SSID, visible to nearby devices, should be unique to avoid drawing attention from attackers who target default settings. As for default login credentials, these are typically well-known and easily accessible, posing a security risk. Customizing these elements strengthens the network's defenses, reducing vulnerability to unauthorized access. Question 128. A company implements software that operates fully on a single workstation without the need for additional system layers. What type of architecture does this setup exemplify? The answer is A. One-tier. The one-tier architecture is characterized by the fact that all the required processing, data management, and interface components of the application are handled within a single system or workstation. This means the entire application, with all its functionalities, runs on the user's machine, eliminating the need for separate layers or distributed structures, which are common in multi-tier architectures. This type of setup simplifies the system's configuration because it doesn't rely on networked resources or remote servers. Question 129. What kind of software would be most suitable for transmitting a file to a colleague? The answer is A. Instant messaging. Instant messaging is the preferred choice for sending a file to a colleague because it incorporates file transfer functionality within the chat interface. This feature allows users to easily attach and send files directly in their conversations, ensuring seamless, immediate sharing without the need to switch to different platforms or use additional file sharing services. Question 130. After confirming that a system is fully operational following a fix, what is the next step a technician should take in the troubleshooting process? The answer is B. Document lessons learned. Once you have verified full system functionality following a fix, the next step involves documenting lessons learned about the issue and its resolution. This practice is essential for enhancing organizational knowledge, improving future problem-solving efforts, and preventing the same challenges from reoccurring by offering clear past references. Question 131. When a technician hears a systems administrator refer to IOPS, which specific operating system activity is most directly related to this term? The answer is A. Disk management. IOPS, standing for Input-Output Operations per Second, is a key metric in disk management, assessing how efficiently storage devices handle data transactions. This measurement is used by system administrators to understand the responsiveness of storage systems, directly influencing decisions about storage configurations and hardware. Question 132. Which computer component is responsible for enabling network communication? The answer is B. NIC. The Network Interface Card, or NIC, is the computer component that facilitates the connection between a computer and a network. It translates the data on a computer into a format compatible with the Layer 1 network protocol in use, allowing the computer to send and receive information over the network. Without the NIC, a computer would not be able to engage in network communications. Question 133. What is the primary reason for selecting a float data type instead of an integer when handling monetary values? The answer is D. Floats can support decimal values. Using float data types is preferred when working with monetary values because they accommodate decimals. Unlike integers, which accept only whole numbers and omit fractional values, floats capture detailed amounts, avoiding the inaccuracies and rounding issues associated with integers. Question 134. Which of the following security concerns is a threat to confidentiality? The answer is D. Dumpster diving. Dumpster diving poses a threat to confidentiality as it involves individuals searching through garbage to locate sensitive information. This behavior can result in private information falling into the wrong hands, undermining individual or corporate safety by revealing data thought to be thrown away. Question 135. At a company, an application accessible to all employees stores its data on a network-connected central unit. What device is most likely used for this storage purpose? The answer is A. Server. In a business setting, servers are commonly used for centralized data storage, allowing multiple users to access shared information from any authorized computer on the network. This type of setup promotes efficient data management and security controls. Question 136. When an employee uses their laptop in a coffee shop, it fails to connect to the internet, but works perfectly while they are at the office. Which of the following is the most likely cause of this issue? The answer is B. Proxy settings. Companies use proxy servers to manage and secure internet usage. When used in a coffee shop, the laptop may try to connect through the office-designated proxy, leading to connection failures. However, at the office, the laptop connects seamlessly because the proxy settings are appropriately recognized. Question 137. Which of the following file systems would a Linux operating system most likely use? The answer is D. ext4. ext4 is the preferred file system for numerous Linux distributions because of its durability, dependability, and capability to handle large storage capacities. It is also the latest in the Linux-specific ext file system series. Question 138. A developer wants to add a new table to an existing database. Which database operation should be executed? The answer is C. Create. To add a new table to an existing database, the create operation is used. It is a SQL command that allows developers to define and set up new tables, specifying columns and their data types. Thus, when a developer wants to introduce a new table to an existing database, they would use the create command. Question 139. Over the past month, a newly configured wireless network that incorporates WPA2 encryption has faced multiple attacks. What's the best solution to enhance network security? The answer is B. Change the default password. Changing the default password is a wireless network configuration best practice for enhancing network security. Default passwords are often well-known or easily obtainable, making them a prime target for attackers. By changing the default password to a strong and unique one, the risk of unauthorized access due to password-related attacks is significantly reduced, thereby bolstering the security of the network. Question 140. Which of the following most accurately defines the role of a vector in programming? The answer is A. Storing a collection of data. A vector in programming is a versatile and dynamic data structure or container that allows developers to manage a collection of data elements, typically of the same data type. Question 141. Within an organization, employees utilize a mix of older and newer laptops. Which two types of connectors should be present in the meeting room to guarantee that all employees can connect to the room's projectors? Choose two. The answer is B and D. HDMI and VGA. HDMI, or High Definition Multimedia Interface, is a connector widely used in newer laptops and devices, offering high-quality video and audio through a single cable. On the other hand, VGA, or Video Graphics Array, is an older connector type that was standard on many older laptops and devices. By providing both HDMI and VGA connectors in the meeting room, the organization ensures compatibility for both newer and older laptop models, enabling all employees to connect to the projectors regardless of the age of their device. Question 142. How does a NoSQL database structure its data? The answer is C. Keys and values. NoSQL databases often utilize a key-value pair structure to organize and store data. In this model, a unique key corresponds to specific data or a value. The key allows for efficient retrieval of its associated value, making it especially suited for databases with large volumes of data that require rapid access. This structure contrasts with traditional relational databases, which use tables with rows and columns. Question 143. While designing a video game, a developer designs a character named Titan that possesses a skill to attack. Which programming principle does the attack ability represent? The answer is A. Method. The attack ability represents a method in programming because methods are functions defined within a class in object-oriented programming. They represent the actions or behaviors that an object, in this case, the character named Titan, can perform. In the context of the game, the attack ability is a behavior or action that Titan can execute, making it comparable to a method in programming. Question 144. Given the following pseudocode, which of the following will be the output of the code? The answer is C. 4. In this coding example, we start by declaring a variable named number and assign it the data type of integer. We then set the initial value of the number variable as 2. The next line of code introduces a while loop. The loop will continue until the variable, number, no longer has a value less than 4. Within the loop, we have one statement that increments the number variable by 1 each time the loop is executed. Applying a bit of logic, we know we will continue adding 1 to the number variable until it is no longer less than 4. And this will occur once the number variable is equal to 4. At which time, we move on to the print statement which outputs the value of the number variable, which is currently 4, and that is also the answer to our original question. Question 145. A user visits a website that they have visited before, but this time they are presented with a warning indicating the website is a potential security risk. The user is also presented with the option to proceed to the website despite the risk. Which of the following is the most likely cause for this warning? The answer is D. The website certificate is no longer valid. When a user visits a website, the browser checks the site's security certificate for validity. If the certificate is expired, revoked, or untrusted, a warning is displayed. In the given scenario, the most probable reason for the warning is that the website's certificate is no longer valid. Question 146. For retailers needing precise reporting to guide business decisions and inventory management, which of the following is most effective in facilitating report creation? The answer is A. Data capture and collections. The process of data capture and collection is at the core of making data-driven business decisions, such as creating detailed and accurate reports for retailers. These processes involve gathering pertinent information, often in real time, from various sources or transactions, which is then organized and stored for analysis. Question 147. A system administrator configures a new server with RAID technology to ensure that, in the event of a single hard drive failure, the information is mirrored on a separate drive, safeguarding against data loss. What business continuity concept is illustrated by this setup? The answer is C. Fault tolerance. Fault tolerance refers to the system's ability to continue operating smoothly in the event of a component failure, like a hard drive. By using RAID technology, the system is set up to automatically mirror data across multiple drives. If one drive fails, the system can continue to function using the data on the other drives, preventing any disruption in service or loss of data. This redundancy is a fundamental aspect of fault-tolerant systems, ensuring continuous operation and data integrity, even during a hardware failure. Question 148. Which of the following should a technician implement to mitigate the threat of an MITM attack? The answer is C. TLS. TLS, or Transport Layer Security, combats the risk of a man-in-the-middle attack by encrypting internet-transmitted data, rendering intercepted information by potential attackers unreadable. It establishes a secure connection that prevents unauthorized individuals from spying on or altering the data, thereby protecting the data's confidentiality and integrity during transmission. Question 149. Which of the following computing devices is most likely to be powered by an ARM processor? The answer is B. Tablet. Tablets commonly use ARM processors because these chips provide efficient performance without consuming much power, which is ideal for devices needing long battery life and lightweight processing. The ARM architecture's balance between power and performance makes it suitable for portable devices like tablets and smartphones that require reliable operation without frequent charging. Question 150. Which of the following is the most effective way to restrict telnet access? The answer is D. Host-based firewall. Implementing a host-based firewall is the most effective strategy for restricting telnet access because it allows for the direct management of incoming and outgoing network traffic on a specific device. By setting rules to block the telnet protocol ports, the firewall prevents unauthorized or potentially harmful remote communications, enhancing the host's security profile. Question 151. A user requires a software solution for inputting text and numerical data to generate illustrative charts based on sales statistics. What type of software is most suited for this task? The answer is B. Visual diagramming software. Visual diagramming software allows users to input specific data, both text and numbers, and automatically converts these data points into visual representations, such as charts or graphs. This kind of software is specifically designed to handle and present statistical information in a visually appealing and easy-to-understand format, making it perfect for showcasing sales figures. Question 152. How many bytes does a 32-bit IP address contain? The answer is B. 4 bytes. A 32-bit IP address consists of 4 bytes because each byte is composed of 8 bits. By dividing the total number of bits, 32, by the number of bits in a byte, 8, we determine that an IP address contains 4 bytes of data. Question 153. A user accesses a laptop by entering a username and a complex password. Which of the following concepts does this scenario exemplify? The answer is D. Single-factor authentication. The scenario describes single-factor authentication because it involves only one factor for securing access, something you know. In this case, the knowledge factor is represented by the combination of a username and password. This method relies on a single factor for security, contrasting with multi-factor approaches that require two or more distinct factors of verification. Question 154. Which Wi-Fi security setting is least secure and would require a VPN in order to maintain secure connections on client devices? The answer is A. Open. The open Wi-Fi setting is the least secure because it doesn't encrypt traffic, leaving data sent over the network exposed and easily intercepted by malicious parties. In such an unsecured environment, using a VPN becomes essential as it creates a secure tunnel for data transmission, ensuring that the information remains encrypted and private despite the lack of security from the Wi-Fi setting itself. Question 155. Which language type allows for the fastest development of a program to perform an ad hoc task? The answer is C. Scripting language. Scripting languages are ideal for quickly developing programs for ad hoc tasks because they are designed for rapid writing and execution. They automate the routine tasks that would otherwise require complex programming, thus saving time and effort. Scripting languages don't require the lengthy compilation phase typical of other programming languages, allowing for immediate execution and efficient task handling, especially for standalone, simple tasks or scripts. Question 156. Which of the following actions would secure the data in transit between a device and a wireless router? The answer is A. Enabling encryption. By enabling encryption, all data transmitted across the network undergoes a process of obfuscation, rendering it indecipherable without the proper decryption key. This security measure prevents potential eavesdroppers from intercepting and deciphering sensitive information, thereby maintaining the confidentiality and integrity of the data as it travels between the device and router. Question 157. To enable multiplayer functions on a gaming console, an internet connection is needed. Which network device would a user most likely need to configure to satisfy this condition? The answer is B. Router. A router acts as the gateway between a local network and the broader internet, directing data traffic. Through the router, users can configure settings to permit specific traffic, like opening ports required for a gaming console's online features, thereby ensuring seamless interaction with other players online. Question 158. What is the most appropriate option for a user that travels extensively from city to city and requires internet access? The answer is C. Cellular. For travelers who need reliable internet access on the go, cellular service is the preferred choice due to its broad network coverage across cities. The extensive infrastructure of cellular networks ensures that users can maintain connectivity in various locations. Question 159. A user reports viewing an outdated company intranet page instead of the newly updated version. What action is most likely to resolve this issue? The answer is A. Clear the cache. Clearing the browser cache removes stored versions of web pages. The browser cache saves versions of sites to load them faster, but this can cause outdated information to display. By clearing the cache, the browser is forced to fetch the latest version of the page, ensuring the user sees the most recent updates. Question 160. Which of the following utilities would best allow for a script to be executed at the same time each week? The answer is B. Task Scheduler. Task Scheduler is the optimal choice for executing a script at a specific time each week because it allows administrators to automate processes on a predetermined schedule. This utility enables the setting of precise execution times for scripts or programs, automating routine tasks and ensuring they run at the exact intended intervals without manual intervention. Question 161. A corporation has acquired a software package. According to the EULA, there is no limit to the number of installations across the company's computers, but usage is restricted to only 4 simultaneous users. Which of the following licensing types is this an example of? The answer is B. Concurrent license. This is a case of a concurrent license. A concurrent license permits a certain number of users to operate the software simultaneously, regardless of how many devices the software is installed on. This approach provides the company flexibility, as it doesn't limit the total number of installations but restricts active sessions. Question 162. What unit of measure is typically used to describe the rate of data transfer provided by an ISP? The answer is C. Megabits per second. Megabits per second is the standard unit of measurement used to describe the data transfer rate of network connections. It quantifies how much data can be transmitted through the network in 1 second, making it perfect to quantify the speed of an internet service provider's service. Question 163. A database administrator needs to populate a new database with a large amount of data from an external source. Which of the following actions should be employed to accomplish this task? The answer is B. Import. The import function allows for a database to efficiently bring in large volumes of data from external sources directly into the database. This method is streamlined and often automated, reducing the potential for errors compared to manual data entry. Importing can handle vast datasets, accommodating the structure and complexity of the data, which is particularly useful when setting up a new database. Question 164. Which of the following is primarily a confidentiality concern? The answer is A. Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping is a significant confidentiality concern because it involves unauthorized parties listening to private communications, often without the knowledge of the individuals involved. This covert interception can lead to sensitive information being stolen, thereby breaching the confidentiality of the communication. Question 165. Which of the following methods of authorization assigns user permissions based on their job responsibilities within the organization? The answer is C. Role-based access control. Role-based access control assigns permissions to users based on their job role within an organization. It streamlines security by tying access rights to job responsibilities, simplifying management, and ensuring appropriate access levels. This approach enhances security, eases auditing, and adapts easily to changes in employees' roles. Question 166. Primary and foreign keys allow for which of the following in a SQL database? The answer is D. Relationships. In SQL databases, primary keys uniquely identify records within a table, while foreign keys link records across tables. The main function of these keys is to establish relationships and ensure data integrity. By utilizing them, databases can efficiently retrieve data and maintain consistency across tables, upholding the core principles of a relational database system. Question 167. A company desires its employees to utilize an email client that retrieves and deletes messages from the email server. Which protocol should be set up in the email client to enable this? The answer is A. POP3. POP3, or Post Office Protocol version 3, is the protocol used to download emails from a server to a local email client. Unlike IMAP, which syncs and maintains messages on the server, POP3 downloads the messages and then removes them from the server. Therefore, if a company wants its employees' email clients to retrieve and delete messages from the server, POP3 is the most appropriate protocol to use. Question 168. Which of the following programming constructs is best suited to hold a collection of strings? The answer is A. Array. An array is a fundamental data structure that allows for the storage of multiple items, or elements, of the same data type in a contiguous block of memory. In the context of storing a collection of strings, an array provides a straightforward way to keep these strings organized in a sequential manner. Question 169. Which of the following tasks is typically performed as part of the identify the problem step of the troubleshooting process? The answer is A. Question users. Questioning the users during the identify the problem step of the troubleshooting process helps to gather first-hand information about the issue. Users can provide details, such as when the problem started, any changes they made, and specific error messages. Their insights offer a starting point for technicians to diagnose and address the issue more effectively. Question 170. Which option most accurately represents the persistent physical storage location of data within a database? The answer is D. HDD. Databases store their data on hard drives to ensure long-term retention and access. While data is often loaded into memory for faster processing and immediate tasks, it's only temporary. The persistent storage, where data remains safe and accessible even when not in use, is on the hard drive. Question 171. Where should a user check to confirm that port 3389 is open for remote desktop access on a workstation? The answer is D. Host-based firewall. The host-based firewall controls the inbound and outbound network traffic based on an applied rule set and protects the computer from malicious traffic. For remote desktop services, port 3389 needs to be open, and this is managed through the firewall settings. By checking the host-based firewall, users can confirm whether the specific port required for remote desktop access is open or if any rules are blocking it. Question 172. Which of the following is an example of an interpreted language? The answer is C. Python. Python is classified as an interpreted language because it executes its code, line by line, in real time, through an interpreter. Unlike compiled languages, where the entire code is converted into machine code before execution. Question 173. Which type of storage medium is most susceptible to damage from a strong magnetic field? The answer is D. HDD. Hard disk drives are the most vulnerable to magnetic damage because they use magnetic storage mechanisms. Inside an HDD, data is written and read through a magnetic head, and the storage platters themselves are coated with a magnetic film. A strong external magnetic field can disrupt the magnetic forces within the drive, potentially corrupting data and damaging the drive's ability to read and write. Question 174. Which of the following would a programmer modify using DML? The answer is C. Data. A programmer would use data manipulation language, or DML, to modify a data within a database. DML is a subset of SQL commands that are used specifically for managing data within database objects. It includes commands such as insert to add data, update to modify existing data, delete to remove data, and select to retrieve data from a database. Question 175. In an effort to efficiently diagnose a network disruption, one team member examines the main network hardware while another analyzes individual devices on the network. What troubleshooting strategy does this approach illustrate? The answer is B. Divide and conquer. The divide and conquer method is exemplified in this scenario because the troubleshooting effort is being split between different segments of the network. By having one person focus on the central network infrastructure and another on the end-user devices, the team can more quickly and efficiently identify the source of the problem. This strategy allows for simultaneous investigation of multiple potential failure points, speeding up the troubleshooting process. Question 176. An administrator enhanced the company's network security by installing a new wireless router with the latest encryption technology. Despite maintaining the original network's SSID and password, several older Wi-Fi connected light switches failed to connect. What is the most likely reason for this issue? The answer is A. The light switches do not support the latest encryption technology. The issue arises because the older Wi-Fi connected light switches aren't compatible with the new router's advanced encryption standards. These devices, designed during an earlier era of technology, likely support only older forms of encryption. When the network was upgraded, the security protocols were also updated, making them too advanced for the switch's outdated technology. As a result, the switches cannot authenticate with the network, preventing their connection. Question 177. What type of data is best suited for storage in a flat file database? The answer is A. Text. Given the alternatives like audio, video, and images, text data is the most suitable for a flat file database. This type of database excels with text because it's less complex and doesn't demand the extensive storage requirements or intricate structuring that multimedia files do. Audio, video, and images are typically larger in size and involve more complex data types, making them less compatible with the simplistic storage system of a flat file database. Question 178. A professional working remotely needs a reliable high-speed internet connection to access company resources efficiently. Which of the following internet services is best suited to fulfill this requirement? The answer is C. Fiber optic. Fiber optic is the preferred choice for professionals requiring high-speed, reliable internet connections for remote work because it provides superior bandwidth compared to other internet services. The technology behind fiber optic connections allows for faster data transmission, making it ideal for tasks that demand substantial bandwidth, such as accessing company resources. Question 179. Which of the following components needs to be updated most frequently to maintain its effectiveness? The answer is A. Antivirus. Antivirus software requires the most frequent updates to ensure it remains effective. These regular updates are necessary because new viruses, malware, and other cyber threats emerge daily. The antivirus program needs the latest definitions to identify, quarantine, or eliminate these evolving threats, thereby protecting the system against potential breaches. Without consistent updates, the software would fail to recognize newer threats, significantly compromising the computer's security. Question 180. Which of the following application delivery models best describes infrastructure located solely within an individual organization's data center? The answer is A. Private. The private model refers to a computing infrastructure that is exclusively operated for a single organization and is typically managed and hosted in the organization's own data center. This setup ensures that the entity has complete control over its data, resources, and security, distinguishing it from other models where resources are shared among multiple clients or environments. Question 181. A computer user gets a call from an individual claiming that their computer is infected and requires a fee to be cleaned. If this is an attacker calling, which of the following would most appropriately classify this security concern? The answer is D. Social engineering. Social engineering involves manipulating individuals to divulge confidential information through deceptive tactics. In the presented scenario, an attacker attempts to exploit the victim's fear of a supposed computer infection to coerce payment. This specific method, where the deception is conducted over voice communication, particularly a phone call, is termed phishing. Derived from voice and phishing, phishing is a form of phishing that uses voice channels to deceive its targets. Question 182. A system administrator is trying to access an older web application. The site begins to load but doesn't finish. What's the best course of action to take? The answer is D. Check browser compatibility. Older web applications may have been designed for specific browser versions or types. As browsers update, they might not always maintain backward compatibility with older websites or applications. If the application isn't loading properly, it might be due to incompatibility issues with the current browser. Checking browser compatibility ensures that the administrator is using a browser version or type that is compatible with the older web application. Question 183. A systems administrator is trying to clarify the idea of cloud computing to a colleague. Which of the following best defines cloud computing? The answer is D. Utilizing remote servers hosted on the internet. Cloud computing primarily revolves around using remote servers hosted on the internet to store, manage, and process data, rather than relying on local servers or personal computers. This centralized online approach often allows for more flexibility, scalability, and cost savings. Question 184. In programming, which construct can cause a block of code to repeat 20 times in a loop? The answer is D. While. The while loop is a programming construct that continuously executes a block of code as long as a specified condition remains true. To repeat a block of code 20 times, one can set up a counter with an initial value and use a while loop to increment the counter until it reaches 20, thus executing the block of code 20 times. Question 185. Every night, an organization exports its inventory database. Which of the following actions is taking place? The answer is C. Database backup. Every night, when an organization exports its inventory database, it's essentially creating a duplicate of the data. This is a precautionary measure to safeguard against potential data loss or corruption. By doing so, they ensure that they have a fallback version of their database, which can be restored if needed. This routine action of copying and storing data for recovery purposes is known as a database backup. Question 186. To implement multi-factor authentication for a cloud application, which methods should the security administrator utilize? Choose 2. The answer is B and E. Password and software token. For multi-factor authentication, the principle is to use multiple types of credentials. A password represents something you know, and a hardware token represents something you have. Together, they provide a more secure authentication by combining knowledge and possession factors. In the context of the question, using both a password and a hardware token offers a layered security approach for the cloud application. Question 187. Which file system feature is most effective at maintaining data integrity through an unplanned shutdown? The answer is A. Journaling. Journaling is a file system feature that records changes in a separate log before they're fully committed to the main file system. By keeping track of these pending changes, if there's an unplanned shutdown or system crash, the file system can refer to this journal to recover and restore the data to its last consistent state. This process significantly reduces the risk of data corruption and ensures that the integrity of the data is maintained even in the face of an unexpected shutdown. Question 188. A user struggles to recall numerous passwords. Which option would best ensure password security while assisting the user with their issue? The answer is C. Password Manager. A password manager keeps a user's password safely in an encrypted vault. By using a password manager, a user only needs to memorize a single strong master password. This ensures that they can set distinct and complex passwords for each account without the burden of recalling each one, thus improving security and making the process simpler for the user. Question 189. When a programmer opts to store application data in a database rather than a flat file to enable access by several users at once, what concept is being illustrated? The answer is D. Concurrency. Concurrency refers to the ability of a system to handle multiple operations at the same time. When a programmer chooses a database over a flat file for data storage, it's often to leverage the database's inherent support for concurrent access. Databases are designed to manage simultaneous requests and transactions, ensuring that multiple users can interact with the data without conflicts or inconsistencies. Question 190. An engineer seeks exclusive rights to stop others from producing a particular invention. Which form of intellectual property protection is most appropriate for this scenario? The answer is A. Patent. A patent grants inventors exclusive rights to their inventions, preventing others from making, selling, or using the invention for a specified period of time. This ensures that the inventor has the sole right to profit and benefit from their invention during this time. In the scenario described, a patent is the most appropriate form of intellectual property protection because it provides the engineer with the exclusivity they seek for their invention. Question 191. Which of the following terms best aligns with a relational database? The answer is D. Structured. A relational database is best described as structured because it organizes data into well-defined tables, rows, and columns. Each table in a relational database has a specific purpose and is related to other tables through foreign keys. This structure allows for data to be queried, retrieved, and maintained efficiently and accurately. The predefined schema, relationships between tables, and rules for data integrity all contribute to the structured nature of a relational database. Question 192. During a routine check of the company's firewall settings, the IT department inadvertently set a protocol to deny all. Following this change, employees across the organization were unable to forward emails. Which protocol was most likely restricted? The answer is A. SMTP. SMTP, which stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, is the primary protocol used for sending emails. When the IT department inadvertently set a protocol to deny all, and employees couldn't forward emails, it indicates that the SMTP protocol, responsible for email transmission, was most likely the one that was restricted. Question 193. Which type of internet service is most likely to remain operational during a power outage? The answer is A. Cellular. Mobile devices like smartphones and tablets have their own internal batteries, allowing them to access the cellular network even when local power is out. Additionally, cellular towers typically have backup power sources, such as batteries or generators, to ensure continuity of service. Question 194. Which of the following OS types is designed to manage other operating systems? The answer is C. Hypervisor. A hypervisor is a type of operating system specifically designed to create and manage virtual machines, which run their own operating systems. The primary function of a hypervisor is to allocate resources and oversee these virtual operating systems, allowing multiple operating systems to coexist and operate on a single physical machine. Question 195. Which of the following password policies will best protect a password from a brute force attack? Choose 2. The answer is C and D. Password length and password lockout. Password length increases the number of possible combinations, making brute force attacks more time-consuming, especially when the password consists of a mix of characters, numbers, and symbols. On the other hand, password lockout policies halt login attempts after several failures, preventing continuous guessing and rendering most brute force strategies ineffective. Question 196. A user wants to add an extra monitor to their current workstation, which will require a new video card to be installed. What should be the first step in the installation process? The answer is A. Turn off and unplug the workstation. Turning off and unplugging the workstation is the first step in the installation process to ensure safety and prevent electrical damage. Working on a powered device can lead to electric shock, short circuits, or damage to the computer components. By turning off and unplugging the workstation, you eliminate the risk of electrical hazards and potential damage during the hardware modification. Question 197. Which of the following would enable an application to launch automatically upon computer startup? The answer is C. Services. Services in an operating system are background operations that start upon boot up. They provide basic system functionalities that enable specific applications to be operational as soon as the computer starts. Question 198. Which of the following will occur if a user tries to install software designed for 64-bit systems onto a 32-bit system? The answer is D. The software will not install on a 32-bit system. 64-bit software is designed to take advantage of the increased data throughput and enhanced capabilities of 64-bit processors. A 32-bit system lacks the architecture to support these features, so the installation will fail. Question 199. Which of the following represents a hardware address used to identify networking equipment? The answer is A. MAC. Media Access Control, or MAC, address is a unique identifier assigned to network interfaces for communications on the physical network segment. It ensures that each device on a network has a distinct address, allowing for accurate data packet delivery. Question 200. A web developer defines the font color for a web page as follows. Which of the following best describes this notation? The answer is C. Hexadecimal. The notation presented here represents a color code in hexadecimal format. Hexadecimal is commonly used to define colors in web design and development. In this specific case, the presented hexadecimal value corresponds to the color black. Wow, you have completed 200 questions. How about one more question, as a reward for your hard work? Question 201. When creating a flowchart for a program, which symbol represents a decision? The answer is C. Diamond. In flowcharts, a diamond symbol is used to represent decision points allowing for branching, based on conditions or choices. The diamond typically contains a question or condition, and the flowchart branches out from the diamond based on the possible answers to that question. Congratulations on reaching the end of our CompTIA ITF Plus practice exam. Your commitment and determination are truly commendable. Now that you've completed this important step in your study process, you are that much closer to acquiring your certification. The next step is sign up for the official certification exam. But remember, while you've achieved so much already, there's no harm in some last-minute reinforcement. With us, you always have the freedom to dive back into our free CompTIA ITF Plus training course or give the practice exam another shot. That way you can ensure you're more than ready. And always remember that we are here cheering you on, eager to witness your next big achievement. So best of luck. We're rooting for you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more great content.